Every guest is important at a theme park, but some are just a little more important than the others. And a couple of those might surprise you who they are. Yes, every guest is special, every guest is important. You want to make the best experience for every single person that comes to a theme park. Regardless of who they are, regardless of how much they pay, there's no quizzes at the gates, there's no signs on them that says, hey, I'm more special than Joe Blow next to me. But when it comes down to reality, there are a few guests that get extra special treatment. They get a little bit more attention. And there's a good reason for those getting that little bit of attention. So, who are these special guests? Well, some of them might surprise you, some of them might not. The very first ones are the first ones that you see. At least they used to be at Disney, and it's the ones that we would call the first family. These were families that were picked out usually at random. There was a formula behind who they picked, but generally they looked in the regular crowd of guests and picked somebody to be the first family. This is the family that would get to go with Mickey or whatever other characters and open up the park. And many parks do something similar to this, where they pick out a family and they get to be the ones that actually open the gates or welcome everybody in, or in the case of Magic Kingdom, they would get to ride the train in with the characters and throw the confetti to open the park. So first family was always somebody special. At Disney, we usually took pictures of the first family and gave them a copy free. It was part of the special deal. So yes, they were definitely more important because you could have 10, 20, 30,000 people at the park, but there was only one first family. This is also very true of the parade grand marshals. These were chosen in different ways. I was not part of the choosing process, so I didn't actually see this generally. Although with the Family Fun Day parades, those were picked a little differently, and I did get to see that several times. But with the big parade grand marshal, they actually had a specific formula for who they were looking for. If they were aware of a special event or a special family or something, they may use those as the grand marshals. But oftentimes, again, it was just a family that was picked out from the crowd. Hey, you want to be the grand marshal today? Course I would! It was just an amazing special moment that they got to do. So yes, those families were a little bit more important, a little more special, because they got to do something that very few got to do. Another group of people that at most parks can get a little bit of a special treatment is our military. Here in the US, part of our patriotism is that we are very openly supportive of our military, our veterans, those who've served in the past, as well as those who are actively serving, or related family members of those who have served or are serving. And so you will see the military get special attention a lot of times. At Silver Dollar City, when they do the opening of the park and they do the national anthem and the raising of the flag, they actually encourage all active and former military to line up and be part of the procession to bring the flag to the flagpole. And they definitely give them a real nice salute. At Disney, they actually have a whole resort just for the military and their families. And they would often do specials with them as well. For the flag retreat at Magic Kingdom, it is always an active or retired military member that actually gets to hold the flag and walk down the street with it. And just a very nice salute to them as well as to the military as a whole. And so there is a lot of special little deals, and it will vary from park to park. Some parks will give the military ribbons to wear. Others will actually give them discounted passes. Most actually will give discounted passes for military and things like that. So yes, they do definitely get some special perks. If we found out too that somebody in line for the characters or at the train at Silver Dollar City was military, we would often give them a little bit of extra attention too. At the train at Silver Dollar City, if we knew that we had any active or retired military in the depot waiting for the train, we would include a salute to them as part of our preloading spiel. On special holidays, the 4th of July, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, we always included an extra little note of appreciation to the military in there. So they definitely got some extra attention. But there were a couple groups of people that, even beyond that, would get extra attention. One of those was honestly my favorite group to work with at the parks, and that was those who came with Make-A-Wish, or a couple other. There are other organizations that are very similar. They would have the name tags on, and you couldn't always recognize them, but usually they had extra gear for medical stuff, or you could tell that they were going through something. Oftentimes, the biggest identifier was just everybody wearing a Make-A-Wish button. We would see those groups coming, those families, and that is when the attention got poured on. Okay, folks, our regular line is pausing for just a minute while we let them come up, because they get to skip the lines. We would do it with the characters at the train at Silver Dollar City. If we saw a Make-A-Wish family, we would make them the center of our preload spiel and let them do the all aboard. Anything that we could do to make something special. The characters would spend extra time with them. If I had a Make-A-Wish family that I was taking pictures of on the street, I would spend extra time and get extra pictures. They don't get those trips, they don't get something from Make-A-Wish unless they're dealing with a life-threatening illness. Man, we're going to give them everything we can. I appreciate the fact that these other families, paid a lot of money, but these families are paying with a life struggle. That just is a little bit more important. And so we would pour the attention on extra poses for the pictures, extra props. Hey, I know this character that you can go meet. We'll let you skip the line for the ride. Anything that we could do to help make their day better. I had a couple times that I had a family that was Make-A-Wish. I'm taking pictures at the entrance to the park on their way in. And one of the kids would mention, oh, wow, look at the balloon. Or, hey, that popcorn smells really good. All right, I'm off. You're getting a balloon. You're getting your popcorn. We're going to give you anything we can to make your day. Those were my rock stars. The ones that, if there was anybody that I wanted to pour myself out and do anything and everything I can to make their day and their experience golden, it was the Make-A-Wish kids. Those were the ones that I treasured coming through. And so anything that we could do, we did for them. The other ones that we would see that would get a little bit extra experience were the VIP tours. Now, these may be celebrities. Oftentimes, they were people who just forked out the extra money to be able to get a tour guide, to get extra access. At Silver Dollar City, we would usually recognize them because they had a tour guide with them. And Silver Dollar City was small enough, we knew everybody who would operate as a tour guide. So if we saw one of these guys or girls coming down with the group, hey, this is one of our special groups. They came over to the exit. They boarded first because they paid for it. At Disney, they would often be accompanied by what we called a plaid. The plaids were the guest relations people, and we called them plaids because they would wear a plaid vest or a plaid skirt, usually, although sometimes they would wear just dress blues. But usually they had something plaid on, and that was kind of the mark of, this is the tour guide, this is a special group. Most of the time, those groups had paid big money. Now, as a rule of PhotoPass, we did not take pictures of working cast members in their costumes. That was just a rule. You didn't do it. You weren't supposed to do it. Except in the case of a plaid. Because then it's a VIP group that's paid money, and if they want their tour guide in their family pictures, yep, we would do it. If they wanted to get some extra poses, yep, we would do it. And there was nothing disrespectful here, but you recognize that these are people that were not just pouring out a lot of money, they were pouring out a lot of money to get this incredible experience. Now, sometimes fairly often at Disney, actually, they were celebrities. Now, I'm terrible at recognizing people who were celebrities. And I would take pictures of somebody that had the tour guide with them thinking it was just a regular tour, and as they left, I would hear the people in line going,
"Did you see who that was? Oh my goodness!"
And I'd be sitting there like, huh? Who? What? Oh. Didn't know. Because I treated them as I would treat any other VIP group. So yes, they would definitely get a little bit of extra attention, a little extra time. If they wanted something special, a certain pose or something like that, we would do everything we could to make that happen. So they definitely would get a little extra treatment. The tours also would have access to places that regular guests didn't. Especially in the case of the celebrities, they would go backstage with the tour guides. So that way they didn't get mobbed in the parks. Sometimes they would get to bypass the lines. Oftentimes they get to bypass the lines, depending upon what kind of tour they paid for and who they were. But it was not unusual for a celebrity on a group to bypass the line entirely, go to the exit, and get to ride the ride that way. So that way they weren't having to deal with all the other guests around them going, yeah, that would happen. I do remember seeing different celebrities at the parks on different occasions. A couple times in the utilidors, you would see one of these groups going by, and if you saw the plaids and the utilidors with a group of people, this was somebody special, and you would just kind of get out of the way and smile and let them enjoy their time away from the mob crowds. So they would get to do that. They would get to eat in different places than the regular guests, especially, again, if it was a celebrity. They would often cater the meals and let them eat someplace that the regular guests couldn't get to. We did actually have some private seating at the parks, so that was a possibility. So you could see that they would get extra treatment that way. VIP guests were really neat, though. Loved when they would come through. I loved as a photographer. Shooting the first families and the grand marshals were some of my highlights. I absolutely love those. I loved the Make-A-Wish. The celebrities and everything were nice. We treat them the absolute best we could, but my favorites will always be the Make-A-Wish. And I can't forget the military as well. They were amazing, and I was always happy to be able to bless them. So have you seen others, more important people at the parks? I'd love to hear your stories and experiences. Did you see them get at things that maybe others didn't? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. For the flag retreat at Magic Kingdom, they actually have an active or former... we would have occasionally, if we found out that somebody in line was active duty, when they were waiting... at the flag... I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.